Well, joining me live now from Birmingham in the UK is political analyst Mohammed Elamin. Mohammed, what realistically are the prospects of a ceasefire now?
Well, we have seen a number of temporary ceasefires in the last 4 weeks or so. However, these have not been upheld 100%, and there has been a breakout of violence and clashes at various times. It's important, I think, to look carefully at what both sides are saying, or at least what is being filtered out from the Jeddah talks, because we still have quite precious little authenticated reports from there. But it does seem that, at least on the Sudanese government side, the Sudanese government delegation's mandate allegedly is only in relation to humanitarian corridors and deliverance of aid, uh, but they're not apparently willing to discuss other issues because the Sudanese government's stance remains that this is an internal matter and it's a matter of a constitutional duty to uphold security and quell what is being treated as practically as a military or armed rebellion. On the other hand, what seems to have come out from the RSF side is what seems to be rather a list of demands. It's interesting that the word in Arabic used was demands rather than conditions, which does kind of suggest that they were looking out for some safe passage for some of their leaders who are alleged to be wounded. So we might see, at least on paper, some form of an agreement. I'm sure both sides are not too willing to push too hard against the mediators and remain on the good side of both the Americans and the Saudi Arabians. But on the ground, the reality might be much more difficult, especially as in the previous ceasefires, these ceasefires have not had actual teeth or measures of implementation. And though it might be an invite in a way that boots, for instance, might be needed on the ground, or monitors on the ground to monitor the ceasefire, the actual international appetite for this at the moment doesn't seem to be that great or substantial as of yet.
Mohammed, can I ask, neither general is likely to back down at this stage. If there is a ceasefire, it's likely to be quite fragile, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's very much turning into a zero-sum formula now. The and both generals are essentially, if we leave the nationalistic and patriotic slogans aside, both of them are pretty much uh, fighting for their very personal survival. This conflict has, even though this is not, and it is important to remember, it is not all just about a personal struggle between the two generals. However, it does have a very personal angle to it. We've seen both generals, certainly General Mohammed Hamdan Dagalo, speaking to a number of Arabic TV news outlets over satellite phone, and his address, his discourse has been certainly one of a very extreme and personal nature. And therefore, they are fighting for survival. However, we must remember again, this at the end of the day, this is a battle between a regular national army and what is a militia, even though it was under the wing of the army. And therefore, one institution is most likely to come up with the upper hand, though it might be with devastating consequences. And one institution can afford to lose the head, whereas another institution, which is family based and clan based, might not have that luxury.
Mohammed Elamin joining us live there from Birmingham in England. Thank you.